Ocean Travelers, it's Ranger Tamio and welcome back to the Mars Parlor. In today's video, we will not be doing nails, but we're going to be tattooing. I've mentioned it in a few of my other videos, but I've been tattooing for about a year longer than I've been doing my nails. And today, I wanted to test out some fake skin from Amazon. So I got two different tones because the goal as well is to practice packing color into a tattoo design, especially on deeper skin tones. So I wanted to get some lighter skin and some darker skin. The colors are off, but this is because, this was on the cheap end. I wanted to pick out the cheapest of the bunch and see how well this takes ink and how well it would work for a beginner and somebody who is practicing their tattoo artistry. I will disclaim, I am not a licensed tattoo artist, at least not yet. I am going to cosmetology school, which is the first step in being able to tattoo legally in Kansas. But I have been doing it for a long time thus far, and in today's video, we're just going to be tattooing some fake skin. So I just got both of these off of Amazon, and we're going to see how well they take ink and see the difference between tattooing lighter and darker skin tones, especially whenever it involves packing colors. So let's just get right into this review.
Hello travelers, and welcome back to another tattoo video. So today, of course, we're going to be experimenting with some fake skin from Amazon, and I wanted to go ahead and use the same American traditional design so that we could gauge the colors kind of side by side on how well they pack into dark skin versus light skin. But it is good to keep in mind that this is not an accurate portrayal of actual skin tones, just because fake skin is never close enough, So it is a good stepping stone for practice. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into that. And I hope you guys enjoy this little drawing bit. I thought it was really satisfying.
Kick.
When you're creating a stencil drawing, it's best to keep it as simple as possible so that there's no confusing detail that might force you to pull the wrong line or place something incorrectly. Especially since the deep purple color of the stencil product, that is very difficult to see on darker skin tones sometimes, so it's easier to get confused by stencil detail if you don't keep it simple. So stencil paper technically has two transfer sheets. The top one you can just take off and do with it what you will. It can still be used as a transfer sheet if you want to save it for later use. But you're just gonna lay your design on top of the transfer sheet on top of the purple paper. And that's going to create the stencil for you. I used to keep that top sheet and lay it over the design. You can do that so that you don't have to trace over your actual drawing if you would like to, but I find it easier to just do it this way.
Gets kick.
So there are a lot of different products to use for laying stencils, but I like to use this stencil stuff. It is the most popular amongst tattoo artists and it works really well. The way it laid on this fake skin was kind of odd. You'll see here what I'm talking about. Like, that's a little weird, but it still did lay the stencil down. I will say that, those jelly deodorants, the kind of blue see-through-ish ones, I don't know the proper terminology, but I know that the Speed Stick deodorants, they can be used as a stencil transfer material. I'm not sure what's in it that helps it to do that, but yes, if you're on a budget, just go buy some deodorant. And I forgot to do this for the paler skin, but I am wiping it with alcohol just to clean it up first. And I am using the same stencil for both applications. You can reuse stencils for a few times, preferably not, from one person to the next. But if you're having to replace a stencil, don't have to completely redraw it, which is amazing. So the brand of needle cartridges that I use does tend to vary, just depending on what I can afford, if I'm being honest. I've heard some people say that there are issues about ordering tattoo supplies, especially needles, online, on Amazon and everything. They are still completely sterile, as far as I know, so that isn't the issue. But a lot of people, they tell you to go to a proper store or to the proper website. But I have yet to find a website that doesn't charge an arm and a leg for some needles, like most of the time it's a private artist website or somebody who's built up a little franchise, and it does cost more. It's costly to get something from a renowned place such as that. And as far as tattoo supply stores, I have yet to see one online or in real life ever. I'm sure they exist, but I am obviously not close to one. So this is just what works for me. I haven't had any infection issues or anything like that at all using inks or needles or stuff like that from Amazon. A lot of the risks with tattooing comes with your technique and your cleanliness. So do remember to be clean. So I just have a bit of green soap and warm water in this spray bottle, and I'm going to use that to wipe at my design, of course. When using the fake skin, it is very difficult to wipe away the excess ink if you don't use Vaseline with your water. So Vaseline is going to be your friend in cleaning up your area, and when you are tattooing actual skin, you will be applying Vaseline to the area you're going to work on before you apply the needle to it. This just helps the ink slide into the skin a little easier. I apologize for how often and how much my hand is kind of in the way of my work here. I promise it gets a lot better when I start applying the color. But yeah, I'm just going to let you guys enjoy the actual ink application, and I might pop in here and there to kind of comment on some techniques.
Gets kick.
Took me a little moment to get used to the actual texture of the skin, because as I said, while it's as close as it can be, fake skin is really not like tattooing actual skin. So I kind of had to adjust to that a little bit. But when it comes to line work, just to throw in a little know-how for you, you really don't want to press down too much at all. For the most part, tattooing line work is just dragging the needle across the top layers of skin. And if you think about it that way, it just becomes a little bit more easy. And as you can see here, when it comes to shading, you'll want to work in tight circles. So you just kind of go in little circles, and you want to move kind of slow to make sure that you're packing it into each little square inch of skin. So little technique for you there.
kick. Gets kick.
So typically, whenever you go to shade your tattoo design, you would switch to a shader needle. There are round shading needles, which I will be using to pack the color, and there are mags. So I'll probably explain the difference between those in another video, but pretty much if you are working with a smaller design or just something a little more compact with tight spaces like this one has, and honestly, in a lot of cases, most tattoo artists do quite a bit of shading with their liner needle. It's not dangerous or like malpractice or anything. For the most part, it just saves a little bit of time and also helps you get into the tighter nooks and crannies of a design. So now we're finished up with all of the black ink application. It is best to do your shading before your color, just so they can blend in together real nice. We had a little visit from my kitty assistant there. And now, as you can see, these are the round shaders that I mentioned. It pretty much keeps the same round shape as a liner needle, but they're nice and thick so that they can cover more area at once.
Gets kick.
So you would approach color application similarly to how you'd approach shading. So with shading, a lot of the times you are feathering it out, either with dot work or just simply lightening your pressure on the needle. But whenever it comes to color, of course, we want to pack that in fully. So you're going to do the tight circles and the brush strokes and keep that slower pace, so to cover all of the skin and not leave any skin breaks. But yeah, you pretty much are going to pack that color without any feathering like you would with shading. And it is important to note, most of the time whenever you're using multiple colors in a tattoo, an artist will have different guns and separate needles set up so that they don't have to use the same needle on different colors. But in this case, that would be a big waste of product for me. So instead, you just want to start with the lightest color in your batch, and yeah, go ahead with that, and then go down the line of lightness so that you don't muddy any of the other colors.
Gets kick.
So the colored inks that I'm using in this video are from So Long Tattoo Supply, and of course they are very primary colors, the red and the green and the yellow and all that, as well as the other ones. They're kind of flat is a good way to describe it. So if you're wanting variation in tone and all that, then you'll have to mix your colors. So it is very, very important that you do not overwork the skin. So when it comes to packing your colors, you should not exceed more than 2 or 3 passes. And 3 is even pushing it a little, so you should do your best to do as little passes over the same skin as possible. So, as you can see, we have finished with the design on the paler fake skin, and I'm just cleaning up the whole little area so that it can be used later on as well, and just so that you can see this design really well. As you can see, when I flip the skin over here, there is no punctures. There's no like fully gone through this little slab, whatever you'd call it. So that is a good indicator that you went to the depth that you were supposed to. You do not want that ink to like blotch through on the other side. So now I'm just getting the brown skin all prepped and ready for tattooing, and I had some difficulty with this one. I don't know, because they are different brands and all that, and you'll hear in more detail about it at the end where I tell you my reviews. But yeah, this skin overall seemed to tear up very easily, which was not fun. And mind you, I did use the same pressure and application techniques on both slabs of skin. But yeah, I'll just let you guys enjoy this application process as well, and I'll see you at the end of the video.
Gets kick. Gets kick.
I do just want to quickly mention, when you are packing color into darker skin tones, it does look different than whenever you are packing it into lighter skin tones. Sometimes it is quite hard to tell if you have actually fully packed the color into a darker skin tone, just because it will kind of mesh with the natural skin, and that is perfectly fine. Just means that there's going to be a different colored look to either design, on either tone of skin, but they do both have their own gorgeous qualities, so do not be discouraged by the different shades that they take on.
Gets kick. Gets kick. Gets kick.
Okay, travelers, so that is it for today's tattoo video. Just to kick off with the review, in my opinion, this thinner one was a lot easier to work with. I do think I'm gonna go back and look at which actual company or whatnot that this one came from and see if they make a darker tone, because while I was able to get the same colors into this one, it kind of, it chewed up the skin while I was doing it. Part of the reason why I'm doing this is to practice with the darker skin tone, putting colors into it, but I feel like this skin in particular just chewed up really fast. Like it was coming off like in little, almost like eraser flakes. I don't know how to describe it, but the material was starting to just come off, and that's not something the skin does. You can cut or chew up, so they call it chew up the skin while tattooing if you go over it too many times. But I know better than to put it to the point of traumatizing the skin. You really don't want to do that, otherwise, touch-ups, and if you need to fix it up later on, it's just gonna be hell. And of course, you don't want to ruin somebody's skin. I almost didn't want to finish this one just because I was getting so discouraged about the way it was reacting to the needle and everything. When I started in with the yellow, it seemed like things were going smoothly, but then it started to kind of tear up and lift up. And mind you, I was using the same technique, the same pressure and everything as when I was tattooing this skin. And that did not have problems. This is so flat, and it came out so well. While this one came out really good as well, it has its issues. Like, y'all can see all that texture in there. You really don't want a tattoo to be textured when you're done with it. So, yeah. I thought maybe I'd have more troubles with this one than I would have with the other, but I don't know. As I said, I'm going to see if they have darker skin tones for this specific brand. I didn't know until I opened the package that these were just little tiny squares of fake skin, which I thought was just adorable, and I love the way, how convenient it is. Like, you can move it around and adjust it when you need to, which you can't always do when you're tattooing an actual person. That is different, of course. When it comes to working on fake skin in preparation for being a tattoo artist and for tattooing real skin, it's good to have in mind that it's not going to react. Like, the fake skin is not going to react to things the same way that organic matter does, the same way that, real human skin would. So this skin isn't going to bleed if you're going too deep. It's not going to tear. Well, if you're digging in there enough, it will tear, but it's less likely to, just because the way that it's made, if you cut it or tear it, it's not going to bleed the same way that a human will. So it is a good idea to keep in mind that fake skin is still a lot different than actual skin. And the biggest thing is actual skin is so much thinner than anything that they could ever, put out on Amazon. So it is going to be a different experience, but this is a good step towards it, And people often practice on fruits, which have thinner skins just like a human would, like oranges. I've seen somebody tattoo banana. I don't know if that actually works, but yeah. Oranges so far is the one that I have heard of, is helpful for practicing tattooing. So yeah, overall, I believe that this skin was easier to tattoo, and I'm definitely going to be looking for a thinner version of the dark skin so that I can properly practice a little bit more, because I feel like this one gave me more of a real skin feel. Alright y'all, so that is it for today's tattoo video. I hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and safe travels back to Earth. Peace.